corners. Ask any petrol head and he'll tell you corners are the holy grail. But could it be that corners are a bit overrated? After all, a really fast car down a really long straight is an equally hair-raising experience. And that's why we've come all the way down to Jaisalmer in search of the country's fastest and longest driving roads. I doubt Jaisalmer has ever been introduced as the driving capital of India. But that is just what it is. Most tourists arrive here in the back of a Clattery Tavera or Indica and don't quite notice that the roads are arrow straight and beautifully surfaced. Ignore expressways and the roads around these parts are truly the fastest in the country, deserving then of what is arguably the world's best supercar, the Audi R8. Flat, empty roads, sand dunes to add contrast and color, and a heart-achingly exotic R8 baking in the hot Rajasthani sun. It really puts things into perspective. You don't jump in and drive. You stop and stare, mesmerize, catch the sunlight glinting off the alloys. You pinch yourself and hope to God that you don't wake up from this dream. After all, it's only in your dreams that you get to play with a supercar on a super fast road. But it is an unusual supercar, the R8. This isn't a high-maintenance temperamental supermodel that will dissolve in the rain or melt in the heat. Crank her up and it doesn't shatter your eardrums, and the earth doesn't stop rotating. What the R8 carries so well is a sense of maturity, a German desirability mated to classic supercar proportions, and, as we shall see soon enough, more than enough power to shatter your sense of perspective. Audi isn't really known for making supercars. Sure, they made the Quattro rally car back in the 80s that decimated the opposition, and they make these loony, over-engineered, overpowered estates. But supercars, not till the R8 did Audi make a supercar. But when they made the R8, the world stood up and they took notice. On a vast, flat and empty road, your sense of perspective might be a little lacking. Chasing horizons and mirages might be fun, but it can also get lonely. You need company. You need very fast company. Oh boy, oh boy.
So what goes well with India's fastest road and India's fastest car? India's fastest bike. Say hello to the Suzuki Hayabusa. Just to prove the fact that superbikes do work in India, we rode this bike from Delhi to Jaisalmer through good roads and bad, through potholes and traffic. It works. This here is a bike on which you can do 40 in top gear or 300. You choose.
The Hayabusa's engine makes nearly 200 horsepower, but the 1.3-litre unit also makes torque by the bucket loads. It is this torque and the Busa's reputation for being mechanically invincible that makes riding her so easy. No matter which gear you are in and no matter what the revs are, there is always enough torque to pull away with authority or even pop a wheelie. The Busa's engine might be a gem, but it is a gem that you don't see. Unlike the R8, where it is positioned midships, gleaming beneath a Perspex cover, there for the whole world to look, admire and burn with envy. Powering this beast is one of the greatest engines ever to roam this planet. It's a 4.2-litre direct fuel injection petrol V8 that makes 420 PS of power and gets dry some lubrication to handle all the stresses associated with high G cornering. It makes masses of low down torque, so you can stick it in sixth and pootle around town. And this being an Audi, it's extremely refined. So to make it sing, you gotta really rev it. But when you rev it, that's what we're talking about. A year ago, I drove an R8 with the R-Tronic automatic gearbox, but this is the manual, and I much prefer shifting my own cogs. There is no launch control, but on this car, you don't miss it. To 50 kmph, the R8 takes just 1.7 seconds. 100 comes up in 4.6 seconds, 200 in 14.9 seconds, and the top speed is a breathtaking 301 kilometers an hour. All that power is channeled to all four wheels via Audi's Quattro four-wheel drive system, which means this car grips. Grips like, well, like Spider-Man climbing up the Empire State Building. This might be a flat, open road, but there are a few corners. Half a dozen corners to be precise, each and every one of them being blindingly fast. I attacked the first corner in second gear. The second corner is dispatched in third gear. No drama, no shenanigans, just cold, brutal German efficiency. The next corner is done in fourth gear, and that's it. I chicken out. The car's capabilities far exceed mine, and to go any faster on a public road requires a level of commitment and lunacy that I'm just not about willing to risk. After the sixth corner, I look across to Shumi, and there's no doubt about it. He looks like an adrenaline junkie out for his next fix.
I'm very surprised by how comfortable this bike is. For a bike that feels this sporty to ride, the ergonomics are very, very good. It feels very sweet to ride. You can spend hours in the saddle without feeling uncomfortable. This isn't something that a super sport bike like an R1 or a 5-blade could pull. It's a format function, it's a big tourer, and that gives it the space to do this.
But while it is comfortable, the Busa is no armchair. It takes its cornering very seriously, and though it does seem a bit strange at first, you can really commit the massive motorcycle into corners and thoroughly enjoy the sensation of speed that only big machines can give you. Ridden well, a Busa would be a formidable thing, not only on roads like this, but even round a racetrack. Come to think of it, that's precisely what I would say of the R8. I've grown up on stories of supercars being an absolute bitch to drive. Getting in would give you a hernia, then the car would overheat. Operating the steering and gearbox required the arms and legs of a wrestler. And then when you made a mistake, that car would bite you back hard. But somebody forgot to tell Audi all that, and that's why they've gone and made a supercar which is as easy to drive as an A6. Audi today are a company with massive ambitions and immense confidence, and the R8 is their admission ticket to the ultra-prestigious supercar club. It showcases the best of what the four rings stand for, and perhaps unencumbered by any past baggage, that means a supercar that's the very antithesis of a supercar. A car that can be comfortably used on an everyday basis, and when the highways open up, will fire away like a rocket. She remains a hugely convincing and fresh-faced alternative in the stratified segment of supercars. And if fuel consumption is your worry, you might want to wait for the V10 diesel that will be in the back of this car next year. If you ask the locals, and I have, they tell you a supercar in these parts is as rare as rain in the desert. Well, last evening it rained a lot, as you can see from the pool behind me. And today we've had our fill of a fantastic supercar and an incredible superbike.
But I'll tell you this, riding in the desert is not easy. Bikes tend to sink down to the axles in the sand. But what helps is having a fantastic road like this running right through it. And today, between that car and this bike, we've had an absolutely fantastic time.
And there's no denying the fact that at 13 lakh rupees for that Hayabusa, the thrills you get from that bike are on another planet altogether. As you can see, that one is the quicker machine too. And this one is 1.17 crores. That's an eye-watering amount of money. But for that money, you get leather, you get aircon, you get cruise control, you get a fantastic stereo system, and you get all the safety features that you take for granted in a car today. And that's the thing with supercars these days. Not only are they immensely thrilling, both in a straight line and round corners, but they're usable on a practical day-to-day basis. You can shove your golf clubs behind the seats, the shopping in the nose, and your wife sits beside you in air-conditioned comfort. That's why if I had 1.16 crores, I would go home in this.